ki jai, Ganga Yamuna Mai ki jai, Samaved Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. With the verse, Mataji? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Kaschimtanagamo gamyam gamyam vasatkritam striya parajitavata bhavam nutamai nasamai pati. Kaschim tvam nagamo gamyam gamyam vasatkritam striyam parajitavata bhavan nutamai nasamai pati. Kashitam nagamo gamyam gamyam vasatkritam striyam parajito vata bhavan nutamai nasamai pati. Devotees? Please repeat.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Kaschitvam nagamo agamayam gamyam vasat kritam shriyam parajito vati bhavan notame no samai pati.
Hare Krishna. Kachitam nagamo gayam gammam gammam bhasat kritam sriyam parajito bhata bhavan nattame nashame pati.
Hare Krishna. Kachitvam nagamo gamyam vasatkrutam priyam parajito vatapavano nattamena same pati. Hare Krishna.
Kachittam nagamo gamyam vasatkritam shriyam parajito vata bhavan nattamai nasamai pati. Hare Krishna.
Kachitvam nagamo gamyam vasatkritam striyam parajito vata bhavan notamair nasamai pati.
Anybody else? Okay, we can go word to words now. Anybody else? Synonyms. Kaschid, whether, tvam, yourself, na, not, agama, did contact, agamyam, impeachable, gamyam, acceptable, va, I either, asat kritam, improperly treated, striyam, a woman, parajita, defeated by, va, either, atha, after all, bhavan, your good self, na, no, uttamai, by superior power, na, not, asamai, by equal, pati, on the road. Translation by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Have you contacted a woman of impeachable character, or have you not properly treated a deserving woman, or have you been defeated on the way by someone who is inferior or equal to you? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It appears from this verse that during the time of the Pandavas, free contact between men and women was allowed in certain conditions only. The higher caste men, namely the Brahmana and Kshatriya, could accept a woman or Vaishya or Sudra community. But a man from the lower caste could not contact a woman of higher caste. Even a Kshatriya could not contact a woman of the Brahmana caste. The wife of a Brahmana is considered one of the seven mothers, namely, one's own mother, the wife of the spiritual master or teacher, the wife of a Brahmana, the wife of a cow, the nurse, and the earth. Such contact between man and woman was known as Uttama and Adama. Contact of a Brahmana with a Kshatriya woman is Uttama, but the contact of a Kshatriya with a Brahmana woman is Adama, and therefore condemned. A woman approaching a man for contact should never be refused, but at the same time, the discretion, as above mentioned, may also be considered. Bhima was approached by Idimbi from a community lower than the Sudra, and Yayati refused to marry the daughter of Sukracharya being because of Sukracharya's being a Brahmana. Vyasadeva, a Brahmana, was called to beget Pandu and Dhritarashtra. Satyavati belonged to a family of fishermen, but Parasa, a great Brahmana, begot in her Vyasadeva. So there are so many examples of contact with women that in all cases the contacts were not abominable, nor was the result of such contact bad. Contact between man and woman is natural, but that also must be carried out under regulative principle so that the social consecration may not be disturbed or unwanted worthless population be increased for the interest of the world. It is abominable for a Kshatriya to be defeated by one who is inferior in strength or equal in strength. If one is defeated at all, he should be defeated by some superior power. Arjuna was defeated by Bhismadev, and Lord Krishna saved him from the danger. This was not an insult for Arjuna because Bhismadev was far superior to Arjuna in all ways, namely age, respect, and strength. But Karna was equal to Arjuna, and therefore Arjuna was in crisis when fighting with Karna. It was felt by Arjuna, and therefore Karna was killed even by crook means, such as the engagement of the Kshatriya. And Maharaj Yudhishthira inquired from his brother whether anything undesirable happened on the way home from Dwarka. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnanandjana Salakaya Chakshurunmalitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Ramayam Tatati Sapadantikam Chaitanya Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Brahma Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vishnupadaya Krishna Visaya Bhutali Smriti Krishna Das Visamadana Vishnupadaya Krishna Visaya Smriti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namana Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Visesa Srinivani Pasachari Satarane. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for being in Srimad Bhagavatam class today and giving me the opportunity to repeat whatever little I can assimilate in my tiny brain and repeat Srila Prabhupada words. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 1. No, Canto 1, chapter 14, text 42. So Yudhishthir is still continuing, is inquiring about why Arjuna is looking so like depressed and looking sad, and he's asking several questions. In this one, he was asking, what happened, uh, and in this verse, hold on, so 1 second. Okay. There are so many important points about about how women should be protected, and Yudhishthira Maharaj is inquiring, whether the deserving woman, has been protected in the verse, and also, and there's so many things that have, like the wife of the Brahmana, the wife of the king, the cow, the earth, the 7 mothers. Anybody remember what the 7 mothers is? Oh, anybody want to say what the 7 mothers are? It's the 7.
Wife of the spiritual master, the wife of the king, cow, earth, mother, nurse. Did I say 6?
The king, the spiritual master, then the Mother
Wife
Earth,
of the Brahmana.
the 7.
Yeah, so wife of the guru, wife of the king, wife of the Brahmana, the nurse, Mother Earth.
Wife of Brahmana, wife of king, cow,
Cow.
nurse, earth. So
Mother that gave the birth.
Yeah. Okay, so first one own mother. Yeah, that's good. And you see the wife, spiritual master, and the wife of a Brahmana, and the wife
king,
of the king,
cow,
the cow, and the nurse,
nurse,
and Mother
earth.
Earth. Bharat Mata.
8.
Bharat Mata, yeah. 7. And also Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, like King Yudhishthira is asking, was there, Arjuna, have you contacted some impeachable characters? They're so impeachable. I remember in United States several years ago, President Clinton was a big thing of impeach him because of his contact with, illicit contact with a young girl. Everybody knows the story, Monica Lewinsky or something. That's what I remember. And there was a big debate to impeach him. And also previously also there was some president in the United States because because the illegal act, they were impeached. They were impeached. So, and here, when I read this impeachable, then character, then is so many women, they're not of good character, and also, and Arjun, Yudhishthira is inquired, have you not properly treated a deserving woman? So that's what he said. All women should be properly protected. Like one thing come in the Prabhupada, he was very, very kind to all his all these ladies disciple. He calls them daughters, and he's always very caring to them. So then after some time, some fanatic sannyasi came and trying just to just push ill treat the woman and calling them less intelligent, and they have to always stay in the back, and they cannot lead kirtan, they cannot give class, and that was not acceptable. There was one time there was one reporter was asking Srila Prabhupada, whether a woman can become a guru. And I know lately in ISKCON, I know there was some big debate about whether a woman should become a guru or not. And Srila Prabhupada said, a woman, if she is qualified, she can become guru. And so many other sannyasis say, no, a woman cannot become guru. A woman should always be protected. It cannot be guru. And, there's a whole discussion, a long discussion. If one wants to read more about it, then they can go on the internet. They'll find more information. I don't want to go in depth about it. And Srila Prabhupada, he said, all women should be protected. And in ISKCON, I know in some temples, sometimes they will keep women all the way in the back. They cannot come in front of the deities, to see the deities. Some women, they like to come in front of the deities. They want to enjoy, to see the beautiful form of Krishna. And why they were deprived of this. But now it has stopped, fortunately. But still in some temple, well, I live in many temples. So I've been in some temples where women are always kept in the back. So Prabhupada, he doesn't discriminate, that's men and women. So Prabhupada even allows ladies to do deity worship. Prabhupada allowed a woman to give them Brahman initiation, Brahman initiation. And Prabhupada allow ladies to sing, like we have Yamuna Mataji every day for greeting the deities. For greeting the deities, Yamuna Mataji, one of Srila Prabhupada dearest devotees, disciple, and she is no more now. She left her body. See, one of the couples that went to England to preach Krishna consciousness, along with Malati Mataji and Janaki. So 3 of them went, and the husband, they went to London to start the Krishna consciousness movement over there. And Prabhupada will allow her to sing, and Prabhupada allowed her voice to be heard every day for greeting, like it is said, according, to rules, in sannyas rules, that you should not hear a woman singing. But Prabhupada is very, very, it's not liberal, but he doesn't see woman as a body, as a woman body. He sees them as a spirit soul. They're just servant of Krishna, and he gives, he's so merciful and compassionate, and and he gave all living entities a chance to serve Krishna, to develop the relationship with Krishna, because we all part and parcel Jivira Swarupaya Nitya Krishna Das. We are all servant of Krishna, and everyone have to be given an opportunity to serve Krishna according to the best of their ability. They should not be refrained from doing that. There should be some rules and regulation, but it should not be to the extreme. But especially now in Kali Yuga, at a certain age, women were kept in different quarters. They were not supposed to to mix, freely with men. But in this purport, Prabhupada said, there's a free contact between men and women were allowed in certain condition only, in certain condition only during the time of where Krishna was on this planet and the Pandavas are there. And also Srila Prabhupada in this purport is speaking about how the higher class men, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, they could accept, a woman from a lower, social order, like a Sudra or something, but like a Brahmana girl, she cannot accept a man, like even a Kshatriya. Because if there's there's always going to be a clash, because one has better qualities, higher qualities, higher values in life than if you marry somebody lower than you, there's always going to be a class. It won't be a compatible relationship. So that's why it is said that the high class, they always can accept a lower class. They can elevate these people according to their standard. But if like a woman marry like a lower class, then she has to follow, you know, to follow her husband, then the value, the standard of life also will be lower. So also Prabhupada gets two words called, is a one who, the Adama, Uttama, means that a Brahmana can marry a Kshatriya, and Adama, maybe Satriya, he can marry a Brahmana. That means lower, cannot marry a Brahmana. And also Prabhupada gave the example of Bhima and Hidimbi. Hidimbi was a man-eater. Everybody who read the Mahabharata then knows there was a demon. Why the Pandava was in exile in the forest, there was some man-eater demon. They were lower than Sudra, like Srila Prabhupada said in the purport. And Hidimba and Hidimbi, they were brother and sister. So Hidimbi, after seeing Bhima, she got attracted to him and see this guy into a beautiful woman. Actually, before that, Hidimba and Hidimbi, because they can smell like there was some human here, because they were men eater, they will go and devour whatever men they see. So they say, let's go and see who are they. Then when both of them came, Hidimbi saw Bhima. She was immediately attracted to him. But when Hidimba saw the man-eater demon, because he was so powerful and so strong, and he killed Hidimba. And now Hidimbi was unprotected. Then Kunti Devi requested Bhima, to marry her. Then from her, a great, another demon was born. What is the son of Bhima from Hidimbi? Anybody knows?
Ghatotkacha.
Ghatotkacha. Ghatotkacha, and he helped in the battle of Kurukshetra and helped and finally he was killed by Karna. So this is one example Srila Prabhupada gave. And another example, Prabhupada said, have a high class like a Brahmana, like Vyasadeva. He was a Brahmana, but he was requested by his mother, Satyavati, to beget children, in the wife of Vichitravirya, who has passed away. So he beget Pandu and Dhritarashtra. So he was from a higher class, and the Kshatriya, and he beget the children in the wife of the Kshatriya, and also there's a Satyavati. Satyavati, she was the daughter of a fisherman, and she used to take passengers to cross the river in the boat. One time when they were traveling, once you were taking some passengers from one side of the river, bank of the river, to other side, Parsamuni was there, and Parsamuni got attracted to her. And I thought that, because she was the daughter of the fisherman, and she was from lower, class, and she was always smelling like, she was so beautiful. But I remember Bhikkhu Maharaj used to tell the story that she has such a bad smell of like a fishy smell. It's still like Parsamuni was attracted, she was attracted to both Parsamuni and her, they were attracted. And, then all her, then after some time, because of the association with Parsamuni, I think all of the fishy smell just left, because she was very beautiful, but she had a fishy smell. Then from her, Vyasadeva was born. That means like a high class person when he was a great Muni, great sages, and Satyavati was from them Vyasadeva was born. And also there's a story of this Sukacharya's daughter Devyani, and he refused. Devyani, I think there was a great king named Yayati, and Devyani wanted to marry him, and he refused. He refused to marry her because he was a daughter of a because he knows, and King Yayati was a Kshatriya, and Devyani was a Brahmani, and he refused to marry her. So this is a long story in Srimad Bhagavatam. Uh, you can read about these stories. Okay, the point is that and a free contact of men and women in Kali Yuga are very predominant. Now people doesn't follow any rules and regulation, any rules and regulation. We can see, like there's all kind of relationship, now living relationship, you know, what you call, uh, it, that why marriage, Prabhupada said the attraction between men and women is natural. That's why, men and women should properly associate with each other so that women won't be cheated, because there's so many rogues, so many, men take advantage when there's freely mix, free mix of women, men and women. So many men will take advantage of a woman. And Prabhupada said, gives example of this women called they are liberated because they don't know they're being cheated by men, because men will just make them pregnant and just leave them. And then there are going to be so many children being born, and the children, they won't have any support system. They won't have a father, and the man and the woman has to go and beg, you know, social welfare from the government just to take care of the child, and the child will be deprived, of a father. And there's so many, and Prabhupada, and even in Bhagavad Gita 140, and Prabhupada said, there's a nice verse there. What are it?
You want me to put up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to read this nice verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, from Bhagavad Gita, is 140, chapter 1, text 40. The verse says that when irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become corrupt, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vishnu, come unwanted progeny. In order to have good population in human society, and we need peace and prosperity, and the system of Varnasrama is very important. It's so designed that we can have a good population in society, and he says a good population will prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state or community. Such population depend on the chastity and faithfulness of womanhood. As children are very prone to be measle, women are measle very prone to be degradation. That's why one of the reason, like women, if they're not protected properly, they can be swayed by by unwanted, by rogues, by men, and they can become very anxious. Therefore both children and women require protection by the elders of the family. By being engaged in various religious practice, women will be miserable in adultery. According to Chanakya Pandit, women are generally not very intelligent, therefore not trustworthy. So the different families' tradition of religious activities should always engage them, and there's a chastity and devotion will give birth to good population eligible for participating in the Varnasama system. On the failure of such Varnasama dharma, naturally women become free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is indulged at the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence. So this is very prominent in Kali Yuga. I know in England, I heard that women, they don't like to get into the institutions. They don't believe in the institution of marriage. They just want to have a partner, somebody, they can have they can have some sense clarification. Then they become a mother, then become single mother, and the government, help them a lot and really gives them a lot of, support. So that's why Srila Prabhupada said, they're just so degraded nowadays, like, you know, I know many women, they don't want it to be, they don't want to be. There's a reason also. They say women need to be protected, but they're not to be exploited. Many women, also are being exploited nowadays. Like there's so many domestic violence, so many, and men, just see women. Men should not see women as like, like a sexual property or something. Men should just see, like Prabhupada says, men should respect women and see women as, as a mother. That's why it is said, all these mothers. Prabhupada gives example of the 7 mothers. And apart from his wife, Prabhupada says that men should see other women only like a mother. The same respect that one gave to a mother, they should give to all women. In such ways, there's going to be peace and prosperity in the community, in the society. So if women are not protected in this way and see like a social, and sometimes women are forced to be single, in this way, a woman, like in Krishna consciousness, a woman will take shelter of Krishna, or the Vaishnava and the Guru, and accept it as her karma, and just, and serve Krishna, and just try to elevate her consciousness and serve Krishna and try to love Krishna. So, and it's happened nowadays, even in Krishna consciousness movement, we have a lot of separation, and divorce, but this is Kali Yuga, and we have all kind of people. Doesn't mean that if you become a devotee, some people will say, why when you become a devotee, there's so many divorces. But if we still in the Kali Yuga, we still not pure devotees. We still have, you know, not all devotees are pure devotee. Everybody is just trying to become, to come to the level, of pure devotee, you know. But they're not pure devotees. There's still going to be problems there. But we should not just look that, like in a religious movement, this thing is not supposed to happen. This will happen because we have all kind of people from so many different backgrounds, from so many different kind of, you know, of social behavior that they came from, so many different character, so many different ways, so many background. So we can avoid having problem, even in a religious, society like the Hare Krishna movement. Like, there's a lot of, children not being mistreated and being abused, women being abused, and children being neglected. There's all kind of stuff happening. So that's why it is said for the proper development of a peaceful society, some rules, the code of conduct set up by the Varnashrama ashram should be followed. If we follow this conduct, then all then we can live peacefully even in this material world, you know, and people can have a chance, by following the uh, Varnashrama Dharma, get a chance to elevate his consciousness and gradually come to the level of love of Godhead. And also Krishna said in the next verse, like followed that verse that I just read. In text 41, when there is increase of unwanted population, a hellish situation is created both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. In such a correct families, there is no offering of oblation, food, and water and ancestors. Due to the evil deeds of destroyer of family tradition, all kind of community project and family welfare activity are devastated. So, I need this. So, anybody has any question or any comment?
When some of these lines are taken out of context, it sounds like women are being put down or women are being shown in bad light. But I think Prabhupada had said somewhere that it's not women who are, when they are on the spiritual platform, there is no difference. But if it is materialistic women, that's when these lines will apply more, that they are unintelligent. Of course, anybody who does not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whether it is man or women, is less intelligent. So that is one thing we have to be very careful and read these lines in the right perspective.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mataji. You should not take things out of context.
Mm-hmm.
Prabhupada said, all my, like they said that women are less intelligent, they can really be guru. Prabhupada said, so all those who are qualified, who are well versed in the scripture, and they can become guru. And one time, there was one devotee asked one sannyasi, why women are being so like put away, you just have to stay in the back, you're not supposed to, to go in the front. That was in the beginning of ISKCON. Why you cannot go in front of the deities and you should always stay in the back, and why you should be like, don't give any importance, less important than men. And proper, and this sannyasi told the devotees that, this come only from the Muslim, from the Muslim tradition, I don't know why he said that. Anybody can comment on that?
I don't know about that, but I know a lot of people misinterpret these things, and a lot of people, I think, have they are put off by what Prabhupada is saying, and they feel that what is being said is that women deserve to be relegated to the back. They should, they are unintelligent. I think when you read the whole thing, you can see that Prabhupada had just as much love for his daughters as he did for his sons. He did not distinguish them. And So when you read the line, women are unintelligent, you take it out of context, it sounds like women should be treated a little bit less than men. But when you look at Prabhupada's actions, you can see that he truly believed what he said and he treated them equally. If she is qualified, if she's not qualified, he's not going to put her on the altar.
Yeah.
Just as he would not put a man on the altar if he was not qualified. And if they did something wrong on the altar, he let them know equally. His concern was service to Krishna. His concern was not man, woman, black, white, brown. I mean, anybody, because everybody is, and that is what the Gita says also in that Shloka Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. Everybody is equal. If they're qualified, they get on. If they're not qualified, they don't get on, and they need some more education. And everybody is eligible to get that education. And what my point is that if somebody comes and says, oh, in ISKCON, then you tell them, no, it's not in ISKCON. It is some people misinterpreting it and practicing it in not the right way. It's not ISKCON, it's never Prabhupada, it's never Krishna, it's never Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's, it's etiquette, it is behavior, it's, so we should also be very protective of this situation.
That is true. Nowadays, the divorce mentality, the paradigm has changed now. Switch. That in the beginning it was worse, but nowadays.
Definitely, I mean, obviously, I was not there then, so for me to say, how bad it was, because I did not experience it. So I understand that. My point just is that Prabhupada did not cultivate that culture. It was somebody else who, let those things happen. He did what he could to make sure that that would not be the case. But, Prabhupada never encouraged women being treated as second class.
Yeah, I read one story about that. There was in the temple in Denver, like in the beginning, everybody, men and women, they were all in the temple room. Like here in Philadelphia, one side is the woman, one side is the one. There should be a little bit separation, not together, but at the same time, they should not be in the back. So at the Denver temples, they were practicing, they all were chanting, and they were very peaceful and very happy. And suddenly one fanatic sannyasi come and said, a woman should go in the back. When they asked Srila Prabhupada whether a woman should go in the back, Prabhupada said, no, they can be on the side, they can, to see the deity, they should not be in the back. But this person, he didn't follow whatever Prabhupada said, and he just, had his own, way and just pushed all women in the back, So,
I'd like to say something if I might.
Hare Krishna.
Just on this topic, because, there's so many reminders, especially now when people have an issue or a concern or a complaint. One of the things that is repeated quite often is we're not our bodies. And Srila Prabhupada exemplified that by allowing jivas in female bodies to receive Brahman initiation. And my Guru Maharaj was very adamant in sustaining Srila Prabhupada's mood that way. So we would go to different temples, and there were times, because I came from a preaching center that my Guru Maharaj established, when we started going to temples, which included the temple that you were at in, I think it was 1992. 1992. Yeah, we came to visit the temple that you were at. And we saw things that were kind of strange to us, like, group greeting of the deities, the men would all go up. And then by the time, kirtan was starting, the women we were not even like up there. and the men just completely crowded the front. And so I asked my Guru Maharaj about that, and he said, no, that's not correct. And so the next morning we were there, he made the men leave early. He made them move out of the way. And that's actually what's, and I don't want to say it started it, but you know, my Guru Maharaj, you know, he made sure people were moving out of the way. He made sure the women were able to see. And everywhere we went, that was a norm. It became the norm because, you know, my god sisters and I were administrators, corporate America, Capitol Hill, doctors, lawyers. We're like, well, what is this? You can't even see the Lord. You know, there are no flowers left. So when we say, or people are told that you're not your body, yet you can't sit anywhere in the temple room. For example, last night, and that again, this thing of dividing the room. If the men are in front, then there's no division. So in kirtan, I like to sit on the women's side because that's the etiquette that I was taught, among other things. But there were devotees past the middle section where Vishnugada was sitting. So I moved around to the other side of Vishnugada to sit because the men were on the other side. So, I mean, if we're not our bodies, then we're not our bodies. If we're our bodies, we're our bodies. And women are not property. They're not pieces of furniture. So we have to understand the philosophy and thereby act accordingly in accordance with Srila Prabhupada and Shastra. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, the temple that they said, actually, no, actually, it's no more. You know, maybe at that time, you know, there were so many men or something. The temple room is small, but there's always like, you know, like here, like in Philadelphia, one side is the man and one side is a woman. And they also, you know, like women are allowed to lead kirtan, like just like in Philadelphia here, they allow, you know, but in many temples, you know, they don't allow women to lead kirtan. And there's still this practice in India, you know,
Acharya Prabhu has
some
his hand up.
temple, in some temples, you know. Like you can see, you know, like Srila Prabhupada was very liberal, and he said that all women, they're just spirit souls, they're part and parcel of Krishna. Everyone should be given opportunity to develop the relationship with Krishna and should not be oppressed. Anybody else?
Yeah, Acharya Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Anybody?
This is just my sort of personal opinion, but over the years, I've actually grown very uncomfortable with the phrase and the concept of protecting women. Because although Prabhupada was talking about some ideal condition, the way it's usually used really tends to infantilize women and disempower them, and I don't think it's healthy. And the other thing to consider is that everyone who's scared about, oh, women, they'll pollute society if women aren't protected. But everyone forgets that it's the men who are causing the pollution of the women, the men who are supposed to be the ones protecting them. So I think the whole paradigm of protecting women is because most people don't understand it in an ideal way. I don't think it's very useful or very healthy. I would rather see people talking about, you know, empowering women, giving women equal opportunity in all situations. I think that's a healthier and more practical way of dealing with the issue. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. There's one very nice quote for Idananda Maharaj was talking about this verse. He was telling, you know, like we can protect women. That is a sannyasi not supposed to protect women. It's a sannyasi can protect women by giving them good advice, by giving them, if some woman, you know, like they need some financial, you know, they are in financial problem, we can make some arrangement for them and can help them, you know, give them advice how to raise the children. You can help them, you know, in so many ways, you know, you can help women. That's a way you can protect women. It doesn't mean that you see women like only like a sexual property. Men, you know, that's a way you can protect women. Thank you. Thank you, Acharya Prabhu. Thank you, everybody. Anybody else? If anybody else want to add anything? Anyways, this is a huge subject. There's a lot of discussion going on out there, but fortunately now things has changed and women are treated better than they used to be. And we thank everybody for attending the class today and and today at 1:30, I think. But Mataji, you want to make an announcement about today's program?
I don't have any announcements except, like you said, the Sanskrit reading will start in the afternoon so that we can be done by 4:30. So please, everybody, come to the temple so we can.
Yeah, yesterday we have a nice time for 3.5 hours. We read Bhagavad Gita, was Gita Jayanti. Today we're going to continue reading Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday we read the English translation. Today we're going to read the Sanskrit.
Yes, and
So
the
everybody
Gitas will
take
be
nice time.
available for the sponsorship. Also, kids' books will be on sale. So we'll do that for the next 4 weeks. So please, everybody, come to the temple.
Yeah. If anybody want to sponsor, like give a gift,
Ooh.
a gift to Bhagavad Gita to the fund, you can sponsor for only $108. I think Acharya was telling. Just buy a box of Gita, give to your friends and relatives, or just leave it as a temple. The temple can distribute to other people.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindopi eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo
Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mata.
Hare Krishna.